Welcome back to episode 2 of the Full Programme Golf Podcast with me, Josh Conlon, and across from me, Stevie McAvoy. Today, we're going to be talking about Bulgaria and when we went there to, in particular, Varna. Let's get into it. Stevie, how are you doing?
Joshua, how are you?
Yeah, very good. How was the wedding yesterday?
The wedding was good. Do you know what? It was, an old school friend wedding, and we don't all come together that often anymore. And so just get all the boys back, wholesome day in London. It was a nice time. Had a really, really good time.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure the listeners were thinking, you're suddenly married now, haven't you?
And do you know what? I didn't want to kick off like we did last time and just kind of set the precedent that we're going to be like, God, just hungover again, feeling all right. But, it was a good friend's wedding. A couple of drinks were had a tequila or two. Wish I hadn't at this point, but feeling all right.
Good, it's allowed. It's bank holiday weekend, isn't it? Yeah. We're sat here. It's Easter weekend. I hope everyone's having a lovely time if you celebrate it. You've flown back in from Barcelona. Good to have you back.
I've flown back in from Barcelona. So it was one of those ones where, like, when the details of the wedding came out and it was like, perfect. It's going to be on Good Friday, no day off work. It's in London, don't have to trek up to wherever it might be, get a hotel, blah, blah, blah. But yes, as you mentioned, I was in Barcelona. So unfortunately, I had to pay the Easter weekend Barcelona flight prices. But, I'd have flown in from anywhere for his wedding. So it had to be done, and we're making a weekend of it. We're sat here, of course, which I'm very excited about. So, been to Barcelona?
I have, yes. It was a good few years ago. It was in between, I think, second and third year of uni. So yeah. I was a little bit less wrinkly, had less around the midriff. Stayed there with a couple of mates who, good golfers as well. And we stayed just right off Las Ramblas.
Nice.
We had a long weekend.
Yeah.
But we tried to tie it in with a bit of golf. So we drove out to PGA Catalonia and played the 2 courses there.
Nice.
Stadium and the other one.
The other one.
As I say, it's a few years ago, yeah. Great city, great place.
Great city.
Would like to do it on a different style of trip where it's not just a golf trip with the boys. Maybe it's a nice long weekend, romantic weekend.
It's a great long weekend city. So I'm there, as you know, for kind of 6 weeks at the moment. Got an office out there, doing a bit of work. I could see myself there. The only thing, especially with a short stay like I'm doing at the minute, is your golf isn't that accessible compared to other cities. And so if you were to move there permanently and you get yourself a car and you go join, I think El Prat was the one I looked at, then fine. But they're a good, half an hour outside Barcelona city, all the golf, which I actually, when I looked into it, was a bit shocked by. You'd think Spain, you'd have lots around, but in reality, not a massive golfing hotspot.
Yeah, and it's, you've got Sitges just down the coast, haven't you? I've got a close family friend who went to dance school there. She absolutely loved it. So, only heard good things, but as you say, the golf, it's not the best region of Spain to golf in. No. That's for sure. The other kind of point I've got to Barcelona, if I was going to ever move to Spain, I mean, I'm a Marbella boy.
Marbella boy.
Always, my dad, my mum, they love it. I've been going to Porto Banús, Marbella, down Soto Grande way for years.
Yeah.
So that'd be where I'd go firstly. But if I was thinking like a big city spot, you've got to think where the football teams are. We've covered it previously. Big Sheffield Wednesday fan. Big up the boys. 1-1 draw yesterday against Swansea. A good draw. I was always in Madrid. I was always a Madridista rather than Barcelona.
I was always Hala Madrid.
Yeah. But my brother, big Barca guy. Obviously we're both Wednesday fans, but big Barca guy out of the two. So I'd probably go to Madrid.
Yeah, well, so I've not been to Madrid, so I can't comment on that. But a couple of football things for you from me. The wedding yesterday, my boys from home are enormous Ipswich Town fans. I'm talking when they were in League One, they were up and down the country on away days. I used to watch them on Instagram story being like, what are these boys doing? But yesterday, Ipswich Town went top of the championship.
They did.
On wedding day. And let me tell you, it was well received by the lads. My second little nugget is, so I'm potentially actually going to Madrid in a couple of weeks. And I was like, I'd love to go see a Real Madrid game. Looked at the schedule and it was it was El Clasico, and I was just like, it's like €500 a ticket, and I was just like, probably a bit of a stretch. The fullback, I've ended up with tickets to the second leg of Barcelona PSG in a couple of weeks.
Okay, that is nice.
Yeah.
Really jealous of that. Not going to lie.
But the new camp's under construction, so it's going to be in the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona, which personally, football stadiums that have athletic tracks around the outside
loses atmosphere.
Does lose a bit of atmosphere, but it'll be a big game. I'm hoping it's close after leg one. It'll be my first Champions League game as well. So,
well, if it's anything like the tie good few years ago now where Barcelona scored like 3 really late on.
Yeah.
You're in for a treat, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
And once again, we started the podcast just on a completely different sport.
We're just on locations and whatever else it might be. Is this a golfing podcast? Bring it back. Big couple of weeks in the golfing world.
Huge couple of weeks. For me, Easter weekend always signifies the start of the golfing season. I know we've had a wet winter in the UK and it's not quite where we want to be, but Masters fever is coming. All the way up to it, but even more so after it, I feel like that is when golf... It always, actually, I'm going to go back on what I just said. Easter, I used to love... I thought it was one of the best watched tournaments to watch, was the World Match Play. I loved watching match play. I loved seeing the top players just scrap it out against each other. You can shoot one over, but if you're better than your other guy, you've won, rather than everyone shooting 7 under and it's just a birdie fest. I just loved it. I loved different golfers came to the fore. Suddenly Poulter's like number 1 in the world. Kevin Kistner was a joke at match play. Just brilliant to watch.
Well, Poulter, for that 1 week only, playing like the number 1 in the world.
Yeah,
but tell you what, I love those WGC trophies. Well, I can't believe, you think how much history is now in WGC. Like Tiger had won, 20 odd or whatever it might be. And those trophies were like historic to just do away with them. What felt like a bit of a drop of a pin, like, hey, signature series now. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it is mad. Obviously it's come from the fallout with Liv, hasn't it, as we spoke about before. I'm not on board with it. I'd like WGCs. I don't think the signature series have quite landed as people have, obviously great to see good fields. We covered the Bay Hill, Arnold Palmer, which was a great field, great tournament. I actually think we called the winner. We always said Scotty Scheffler. We said Shane Lowry would lead and that he wouldn't shoot any more than 1 under par on the last day. And what did he do? He shot 1 under par and finished third, as we said he would. But they've not quite lived up to the same spectacle that the WGCs have for me as of yet. But it's still early out, isn't it?
What makes me laugh? It went Arnold Palmer players. So in our WhatsApp group, the boys, we do normally for the majors only, we do the gambling thing where everyone has to pick players, and it's is it a cumulative position?
Yeah, so you've got 4 players, 1 in world's 1 to 10, 1 in world 11 to 20, 21 to 40, and then 41 plus. Now, obviously with Liv, there's some real wild cards in that 41 plus bracket
for the majors,
which is great. But what we did and what you were alluding to was just 1 player. Just a dogfight.
So 5th major, the players, and just wet the whistle for the boys. It was just like, right, 1 player, money in, like winner takes all kind of vibe. But the rule was no one could pick Scotty Scheffler, which on reflection is quite funny now.
Since Tiger, obviously it's been a much shorter period, but there's not been a tournament where I can think of going, let me try and pick a winner besides 1 person.
Yeah.
And they've just gone on and won. That is Tiger-esque. As in, he's the favourite, he's going to win. Oh, he's just gone and won. And he's shot 8 under last day comfortably as well.
It was mental.
But that horseshoe from Wyndham Clark, I don't think I've ever seen a worse horseshoe in a position that matters like that. We've all seen bigger horseshoes, but when it matters, tournament on the line, to see that was disgusting.
So I just watched the Wyndham Clark Full Swing episode as well, where they're talking about, his like mental coach and blah, blah, blah. And that's what's really kind of kicked him on.
That she was busy.
I was thinking literally that evening. I mean, she's probably there stroking his hair.
Black off.
Yeah, very true. But no, it was good to watch. Scotty, that TaylorMade must just be doing absolute backflips with excitement for him putting that mallet in, and then obviously just like basically putting the lights out for the weeks post that switch.
Mental. I mean, they've got both world number ones, Scottish Scheffler men, Nelly Corder ladies. They've got both world number ones TaylorMade. So they are laughing at the moment. They're having a great time.
They are. I mean, TaylorMade got so much money. You think, Tiger came available, like to just like snap Tiger up from Nike. Like everyone would have wanted Tiger at that point. And yeah, they're just a juggernaut, aren't they? Yeah.
I think they did a good thing splitting with Adidas with the golfing kit, because it was never quite the best.
So what partnerships are out there now? So it's still FootJoy, Titleist are pretty in bed with each other, aren't they? It was Adidas, TaylorMade. That's now split.
I think Puma Cobra seemed to be quite a...
Puma Cobra. Yeah, that one makes sense.
And then, Peter Millar with everyone. Jalen Berger with everyone.
Yeah.
Callaway, Travis Matthews, like John Rahm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
But no, I think they're moving away from that, aren't they? They don't want to be stuck with one set of sponsored players.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway.
Tell you what makes me laugh as well is from listening back to the other podcast and talking about good putting is we obviously sat here and we're like, at this point, Anthony Kim hadn't shot a particularly good round on live. I think it was the next day he just went and absolutely blitzed the 65 and just putted the absolute lights out all day. And we're just there being like, yeah. Well, you said actually scores were trending.
They were trending. I can't say I thought he was going to shoot 5-6 under.
I think it was the lowest round of the day, or it was close to one off.
Yeah, it was. I mean, second tournament.
He did go Asian Tour. The next week and just go like over par cut. So
yeah, but he didn't have the money incentive.
Oh dear, but no, it was good to see. I enjoyed the highlight package, I have to say.
Yeah, and Scotty again, Scheffler, fifth, going into the last two rounds at the Valero, Texas. Finau leading. Finau won't win. I'm sitting here now and I'm calling it. I'm willing to put my neck on the line now every time.
Yeah, Mystic Conlon.
Yeah, it's like that octopus that could choose the winners of the football. I'm going with no Finau win, but I don't think it will be a Scheffler win either. I don't think he's going to do a three-peat. And I actually think his Masters chances are better if he doesn't do a three-peat, because he needs to get the loss off his back. If that makes any sense.
The loss.
Yeah, the loss. The other 1.5 million that you're going to win.
Bloody hell. Yeah, looking forward to it. Big couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Big couple of weeks. So, Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, yes. A trip that certainly came out of left field, didn't it? One of the boys, Chasey, he was really keen to try something a bit different. We've done the Marbella's, as we've mentioned. We've done the Portugals, everyone has. We've done a bit of Cape Town, which we're going to come on to in a future episode. We talked about Southport last week, which we hadn't done at the time, but we wanted to go abroad. And Chasey's looking in, he's gone, what about a bit of Bulgaria? So, looking into it.
It was like Turkey or Bulgaria. That's kind of where we were.
Was,
we were thinking not Portugal, not Spain, but we were thinking Europe, and we were thinking reasonably cheap and cheerful, but still decent quality golf.
Yeah, exactly. And the more you looked into Bulgaria, and Varna in particular, so we're not going to profess to say we did the whole of Bulgaria in the week that we were there. Thracian Cliffs, Black Sea Rama, Lighthouse, really good setup for golfing trip.
Top three courses in the country.
Thracian Cliffs is 42nd in Europe.
Is it really?
Black Sea Rama and Thracian Cliffs, both Gary Player designed. Gary Player's first course was Black Sea Rama, then he went on to Thracian Cliffs. Lots of history, 2013 Volvo match play.
Thracian.
Talking how much we like the match play.
Yeah.
We'll get on to no shock who won it, with given how tight that golf course is. Graham McDowell, no shock, just hits that draw, puts lights out, beats Tongchai Jaidi, another short hitter. No shock really, is it? So
I remember talking about the match play. And I can't say I watch a huge amount of European Tour, DP World Tour now, but I do remember there being a bit of buzz back in 2013, just being like, you got to get eyes on this course that the match plays at. You got to get eyes on the match, on where the match plays at. And I actually did watch a bit of that tournament.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, I was like, this place looks class. took me a long time to put it together that is actually where we were going.
Okay. I love a match play. I remember watching it. I remember it being so different to Finca Courtesan the year before, where Colsaerts won.
Yeah.
Colsaerts was never going, having played that golf course, which we will get onto shortly, it's just not a golf course for a big hitter. It's just not. It's the tightest thing you've ever seen. It's a goat track. I mean, that is what it is. You have to be a goat to be able to play it. So, no need to say what my thoughts of the golf course are.
Yeah, I don't. So, yeah, we'll take a step back. So we're heading out there, 8 boys, and we are playing 5 rounds.
Five rounds, yeah.
So we were going 2 on Thracian Cliffs, which is the top course, 2 on Black Sea Rama, which was
the second
course, and then the third on the Lighthouse. We had 2 options of where to stay, really. You either stay on Thracian, which I think that was a pay as you go, wasn't it? It wasn't an all inclusive package, anything like that. Or you stay at Lighthouse, which was all inclusive, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, all inclusive. The Thracian Cliffs was a bit more of the premium accommodation and place and resort is probably the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. So
we decided to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get onto the Lighthouse shortly, but looked nice in and of itself.
Yeah, do you know what? So we get there and, it's Varna, that coast, not something I knew a huge amount about. You get there, I mean, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Weather was beautiful the day we arrived. Accommodation was smart. So got there, and do you know what? Morale was pretty high, kind of rolling into it.
Yeah, I love boys trip. I love it when there's a good kitchen lounge setup, little patio, and then 2 nice twin rooms off one. So 4 to a room. We had 2 apartments essentially opposite each other, so all 8 are with each other.
Yeah.
Overlooking the 18th.
Yeah.
Which had some real drama over the week.
Yeah.
Do
you know what? We're going to come to that. That has slipped my mind.
It did not slip my mind. And it was a really good setup. Really excited. So first night with one of the downsides really is that it's about an hour from any life.
Yeah. Correct.
It's pretty quiet in Varna, in Thracian Cliffs itself.
And the resort was actually just actual Thracian Cliffs. It's quite quiet as well.
Yes.
And I mean, we were there middle of the summer. We were a bit like, where is everyone?
Yeah, it was like Millionaires Golf, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is great in many ways. Certainly great for playing golf.
Maybe
we wanted a bit of life, but 8 boys, maybe we didn't need any more life than we brought.
Some life was brought.
But so we went into Varna, didn't we, that first night, which is about an hour and 10 minutes into the town, and had a great night. We were down on that beach club.
Yeah,
really good food, really great prices. Had just a really nice night. 8 boys, opening night. Everyone gets a little bit carried away. Your first night of tour.
Yep.
Whatever you want to call it, whether you call it a trip, tour, lads, boys, whatever. You just get a little bit excitable, don't you? And it was good that we were in the town for our first excitable night, but we knew it all started the day after, and we were going to start at Black Sea Rama.
Black Sea Rama, yes, we were. And so, short drive away. They're all pretty close proximity. So
15 minutes.
Yeah, got a quick bus over from Thracian Cliffs, and I quite like Black Sea Rama. So first out of the gate, so we were playing a 5-round tournament again.
Yep.
Money in, what was it? We just do Stapleford.
Yep.
We're straight Stapleford, nothing too glamorous. And how to say, I came out of the gates hot.
Yes, you were leading after day one comfortably.
Comfortably. So I think I shot 42 points. I mean, I played out my skin at Black Sea Rama first day. And that's coming in, course you never played before. I don't think I played a huge amount in the build-up. I sat on that patio at the end and I was like, that is a bloody good day's work.
Yeah. I think I got it round in 36 points, which, again, first day of the trip, the old adage, you can't win it on the first day, but you can certainly lose it. And I felt, I might be near the top here.
Yeah.
And to come in and just be 6 back was outrageous.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, though. I thought Black Sea Rama it beat expectations. I think it was very much seen as the second course we were going to play out the 3. We had it down to play twice.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first day of the trip. And again, first proper day of the trip, first golfing day of the trip. It's going to take a lot to dampen spirits.
Yeah.
The golf course is going to be seen in a good light if you play anything like decent golf, because you're on holiday. It's day one. You're just enjoying yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I thought there were some really great golf holes on Black Sea Rama in and of itself. You know, the fifth, that dogleg par 4 to the left,
Yep.
the water all down the left, and the water carried on all the way up to the green, index 1.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really strong, you could hit 2-3 iron out to the right,
Yeah.
or you could just try and cut the corner with driver. Great golf hole.
Good golf hole. Beautiful finishing hole. So the finishing hole is a 200 plus yard par 3 straight back to the clubhouse over just like this gorge,
Yep.
which is, right on the coast. And I mean, you absolutely run off that hole with a par.
And it was blowing.
It was blowing, yeah.
It was blowing right off the sea.
Was Black Sea Rama that absolutely world-class halfway hut, which was like the decking, like on the top of the cliffs?
No, that was Lighthouse.
Was that Light?
That was Lighthouse, yeah.
Okay, we'll go on to that. Sorry, jump the gun.
But that's an all-time halfway.
Yeah, it was all-time halfway. So Black Sea Rama day one, played well. I think played above expectations, liked the course, good finishing hole, sat on the patio afterwards, good pint, good start to the trip.
Great start, a great patio.
Great patio.
Which, we're always looking for good patios.
Yeah.
Golf course is an experience in itself, but the patio and the clubhouse is also an experience.
Pro shop, patio, play.
In that order.
Yeah.
And it was a good opening day. I think it's one of those I would actually recommend if you're in the area to play Black Sea Rama. I thought it was better than I expected it to be. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The course could have been in a slightly better condition.
Yeah, a little bit woolly.
But that is what it is, right? And then the next day we were going to be going into Thracian Cliffs.
And we're excited for this. I mean, we had riled ourselves up for how good this was going to be. Like, there's enough media from Golf Digest and all these people that kind of gone and reviewed it and raved about it. And so really, like, day 2 was kind of main event, I think.
Yeah, well, Gary Player, who designed the course, said that it's a better piece of land than Pebble Beach, which I think he was on drugs when he's saying that, but each to their own.
Yeah.
The one thing he does mention, which is true, you can see the sea from every single hole.
Yep.
Which is why it's a goat track, because you have to create views to have every single hole seeing the sea. But difficult golf course.
God, I mean, so I think I've shot 42 points the day before, leading by a 4, I think. Stripe it down the middle on the first, and I'm like, problem solved. I was like, this golf game is over. Turned into one of the more grueling 18-hole experiences that I can certainly remember. It is so difficult.
Yeah. If you've not got a stock shot to go to, please just buy those cheap bags of balls, because you're going to go through them.
Oh, mate. But it's just like, you play resort course. I'm thinking some of the places like, do you remember Langebarn in Cape Town, where just like, the wind can blow and it's a bit of a nightmare because left and right, quite wide, but left and right is both dead.
Yeah.
And so you're going to lose balls. Whereas this golf course was tight as you like, just because they had to fit the fairways like onto this bit of cliff, essentially. Wind was blowing, it was on the coast, and you were just gone if you were 10 yards left or right.
Well, remembering a few of the holes back, the 8th hole was this short par 4, which on the stroke saver is stated as a risk-reward shot that you can actually reach the green. Now, yeah, you might be able to reach the green, but you've got to hit it through the eye of a needle with driver. If you push it 2 yards, you're in the sea. If you pull it 3 yards, you're in the bushes. And it was so tight. I think it was like 6-iron wedge. So yes, it's short. But even with 6-iron, you've probably got a 10-yard target.
But there was loads of holes like this. I mean, it was, I couldn't tell you how many balls I lost that day. Before we get onto actual kind of how the scores shook out from everyone, let's talk about the signature stretch, which is what a lot of people see photos and videos of.
Yeah, 6 and 7. So it's actually quite a relatively easy start before we get to 6 and 7.
It is quite an easy start.
The first is just an iron and a flick down.
Yeah.
You've then got back-to-back par 5s, albeit the second is very tight and you're cutting over the corner of the sea.
Yeah.
So you can cause trouble, but it's 2 par 5s.
Yeah.
And the third's a short par 5.
Yeah.
4 is that nice, pretty simple uphill par 4. And then you're into like a 120-yard par 3. So
that was a nice one.
it was a nice hole.
Yeah.
I actually birdied that both days that we played that
Did you
course,
really?
which is nice because I made millions on all the other holes. So which is a really, really nice touch. And then we went into the signature stretch.
Yeah.
So 6 and 7. Mentioned 8, which I don't think is part of the signature stretch. Maybe stretch is a stretch because it's 2 holes. But 2 fantastic golf holes.
Yeah, I mean, very, very pretty to look at. So it was the par 3 first, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 6th. About 180 yards downhill, probably like 60, 70 yards downhill.
As in, we stood on that tee box and, you know, all of us went caddy hat on and we didn't have a clue what we had to hit here. I think the wind was howling off the right.
Yeah.
And so it was a case of
off the sea, pushing out the cliff.
So unless you're going to hit this kind of like pro fade up into the wind and just like hold it, you're going to have to like ride this wind, which is for me, who draws the golf ball, I was probably aiming 20 yards right, which was just dead into water.
Yeah. It was also one of those shots that if you've got a bit of vertigo, or, I mean, I don't like heights at the best of times.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I can't say I've stood on many tees and been mindful of letting go of the club because then it's gone. And I don't know why that is. You know, I get on a 2-tier range and I'm suddenly thinking, oh my God, if I let go of the club, it's gone. I had that feeling again on that tee.
Yeah.
But it was a great golf hole. You know, as we say, about 180-ish, playing 60, 70 downhill. It might even have been longer because given into wind, I think it was about an 8 iron we were hitting.
Yeah.
8, 9 iron. So it's not like you're hitting 6 iron into it. So you can control the ball. But as you say, right is water. Left is this almost like the White Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
You know, just massive cliff and it's just gone.
And we were like, so what basically, I mean, the scores were not brilliant from my group from memory. But there were a lot of lads who didn't have the bottle to start far enough outright. And so there were a lot drifting into this kind of cliff that just runs up the left side. And so we were kind of hitting it and we went into the cliff and we're like, I mean, it's plausible that it could just hit this cliff and just go down onto the green, get down there. I mean, it was an absolute jungle at the bottom of it. And so, scores were not so favourable. But what I will say is we knew we were playing it twice. And I was looking forward to the second go. And that's about it. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. I'll say I was looking forward to the second go. I wouldn't have been looking forward to the third go.
No.
I'm glad we didn't have a third go. But just to round off that signature hole piece, you know, so we've played the 6th, the par 3, back-to-back par 3s. Worth noting that also it's a low index, that par 3. So typically it's a shot hole. So if you get it wrong, you're throwing a shot away as well. I think it was about index 4 or 5. And then you get on to what I think is the signature hole, the 7th, the par 4.
Yes, which very cool tee box where you kind of just head out into the sea.
Yep.
And then you are presented with a cliff in front of you with water bridging the gap. What do you reckon the carry was?
Well, it depends how far right you go.
Yeah.
So the further left you go, the further you have in, but the shorter the carry. So you could probably hit 6 iron, 5 iron over the first part of the left, but then you've probably got 260 in.
Yeah. So
you can't play the hole like that. Really, the play is probably 4 to 2 iron. Don't know why I said it that way. 2 to 4 iron. Clearly, it's already scaring me. I'm starting to try to move back as much as I can.
You're just getting jittery.
Yeah.
Your legs going under the table, mate. You're right.
You'd be going 2 to 4 iron into the fat part of the fairway, which, if it can be called the fat part, it's probably 30 yards instead of 10.
There was no fat part.
Yeah. And then you've got this 80-yard uphill, 100-yard shot, if that makes any sense. So it's like 100 yards, but it's probably playing 150. because it's so uphill. If you miss it short, it comes right back to you. But if you miss it long, there's trees and bushes
Trouble.
and dead.
Yeah.
And having not played it before, we didn't realise it's also a 2-tier green. So basically, they've just thrown everything they possibly can to make you blob that golf hole.
Yeah. It was a nightmare for me. So, as you said, there was a varying degree of carry from the tee. Driver was a lot of club.
Yeah.
And it was not much to aim at if you hit driver.
Yeah.
And then I had a 3-wood at the time, which I might as well have just left at home. Like, I couldn't hit it for no love nor money, but was probably the club. I got forward now. I'd definitely be hitting forward. And so I'm like, driver's definitely not the club. I can't hit my 3-wood. And so then I got my 2-iron. My 2-iron, I could probably get the first half of the fairway, but then the second half would be too big a carry. And so what I did proceed to do, obviously just fucking smashed it straight into the cliff with the 2-iron because I didn't aim far enough left the first time. So, yeah, blob.
Yes. Blob onto... the thing about the golf course is it's soul destroying. You're slightly off and you're dead. You know, it's a good golf course, okay? I know I've called it a goat track. It's in great condition. It is beautiful to look at. And now I'm sitting back and thinking about it. I'm like, okay, yes, it is a good golf course, albeit I've slagged it off now for the last however long
It's experience golf.
It's experience golf. It does not shock me that the DP World Tour, back in the day, the European Tour, when they had it, decided to play a match play event over it. Because you just could not play medal over that golf course.
But a question for you. What on earth and where on earth did the spectators go?
In the sea. Stick them in bushes and in the sea.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how you'd walk around that course as a spectator.
No, not at all. No, because we had buggies and there's some serious walks between... Well, obviously, we buggied it, but there'd be serious walks between tees. It is fairway bush, fairway cliff edge.
Yeah.
So as you say, I don't know where spectators go. And as we sit here now, I'm trying to picture it. Yes, we've had a couple of sleeps since then. I cannot see a spectator. I do not know where they go.
No.
Other than round 18, which you're not going to go and just watch the 18th.
Any more holes? So yeah, that's signature stretch, and then kind of beyond that, like any others that jump out for you?
I really liked the 10th. I thought that was a really good par 5.
Mm-hmm.
Really long carry.
Yeah.
Back tees. Up and slight dogleg right.
Yeah.
It was reachable if you took it on, but again, you're hitting driver into a 20-yard wide fairway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably a 250, 260-yard carry. So you can't really bail out and hit anything else.
Nice.
But I liked the golf hole. I liked how it curved round. It was almost a bit of an S. It almost did a double dog leg. And up by the green, you miss it left, shock, you're in the sea. I thought that was a really good golf hole. And then coming in, the closing stretch is also very tough. 16 was like index 2. A bit of a nothing hole, but a strong enough golf hole.
Mm-hmm.
17 was a great golf hole.
Yeah.
Slight sort of kind of
off away from the sea a little bit then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can see that certainly from our accommodation. So we were always thinking, what's that? Is that a par 5? Nope, it's a par 4.
Yeah.
And it's into wind. And,
and it's long.
Everywhere. A bit of a shock, tight shot that you're then going in with. Well, for me, I couldn't hit driver. I didn't hit driver off the tee because it kind of narrows in. But it's leaving you sort of 6-7 iron typically into wind. I don't know if that was the prevailing wind, but that's what we got twice.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm a master of wind in Bulgaria, so I don't know. And hitting 6-7 iron into this green that left is water, long is water, right is a bunker, isn't really what I'm looking for when I'm on holiday. I've had probably a couple too many beers the night before, maybe a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
And I just want to just close it out and just go and have some more beers.
Yeah. No, good hole, and then a little par 3 to finish. If you couldn't guess already, scores were not quite so favourable after day 2. I was in the 20s. I think there was only one of us in the 30s. It was
I think 30 won it. And I think second was 24.
Bit of a bloodbath.
Yeah, it certainly took some victims, and it took an even bigger victim the second time we played it, which we will come on to.
We'll come on to. What I want to say after the first time, and this is what we kind of came to discover, and it's back to the 3 Ps that I mentioned: pro shop, patio, play.
Yeah.
Where was the patio?
It was actually so confusing.
So confusing. And I'm going to have a little rant here for a second. If anyone from Thracian Cliffs listens to this, they are just crying out for a commercial-minded American country club guy to get in there and just shake it up a little bit. It is unquestionably an amazing bit of land, and it is an experienced golf course. Yes, we hacked it round, but it's a great track, great condition, beautiful holes. What are they doing? They need to get in there, get their pro shop stash sorted, number one.
Terrible stash.
One of the P's. And then you finish on 18 and you've had this experience where, like, you know, there's so many holes you want to talk about. It's tough. Like, as in, it's going to be one of like the all-time patio chop-ups. And you're like, where is it?
Yeah, where do I go?
And they're like, there isn't one. There's just like not a clubhouse per se. It's just kind of like the restaurants and then the accommodation. Like, they need to put a clubhouse next to the 18th green, which is over water par 3. You could sit there watching people come in, having a great time in the sun. And so we're just like, what do we do? And they were like, oh, like, if you want a beer, you're going to have to go to one of the restaurants. Walking around, so I think we played quite earlier, whatever. We're walking around, 3 restaurants on site, 2 of them are closed. So we had to go to the most like upmarket restaurant, which is like a decent walk away from where we finish. You know, we're kind of losing a bit of steam here. And we sit down and we're just like, you know, people are having like their posh like lunch, I suppose. And we're just sitting down just like, you know,
golf bags, golf kit, everything.
Eight Amstels, please, mate. Like, you know, and we're just like, this just, I don't know. There's just something missing there, which just feels glaring to me.
Yeah, it lost its golf vibe as soon as you walked off the course. And I think that's probably why I had such a bad feeling for it. You walk off the golf course and where we were sat drinking, we could have been anywhere. Could have been in any town, anywhere, doing anything. Other than the fact that the golf clubs were in the corner and we're all wearing golf kit. We could have just been, as we said, in Barcelona or wherever, you know, not a golf trip. And it does miss that. It would be an all-time clubhouse patio.
Oh, it's got the ultimate spot.
It's got all the ingredients. Oh, as you say, overlooking a really playable, big green par 3 over water to finish. It's just crying out for some viewing opportunities.
Yeah, no, it is. And no, we'll come to that later. I really want to talk about the thing that we're holding on to, but we need to go in chronological order here. And I want to circle back to why I'm so annoyed about patio not being overlooking at 18 in a second.
One thing to call out, you've mentioned the restaurants there. They've got it wrong in many ways. And I actually think, as you said, you know, an American country club person to come in, you know, they need to just see either that or go to one of the Spanish courses or the Portuguese courses, look at that setup, literally try and poach one of their main people and bring them over. Because it has the ingredients. And I think that was the frustrating part of Bulgaria.
Yeah.
It had everything there to make it brilliant.
Yeah.
But they just missed every opportunity. They just missed. And then you can see why people don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, literally couldn't agree more. The raw ingredients are without a doubt there.
Yes. And
they just need someone to go in and just bring it all together and make something out of it.
Because the restaurants are great as well.
Yeah, yeah. So then that was day 2. Then we were into Lighthouse, the third course on day 3. So Lighthouse, the 3rd ranked golf course. And I said it was an option of somewhere we could have stayed. And so it was quite interesting to see kind of, I suppose, where that accommodation was and what the option was. I would say definitely number 3 for me. Like a more similar to Black Sea Rama in style, but it was just a playable track, nice fun track. Wouldn't say it's necessarily one to write home about.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes away.
Yeah,
it fills the trip. You're playing 3 courses instead of 2.
Yeah,
brings a little bit of variety. A great patio, a great practice facility.
Great putting green.
Great putting green.
Great putting green. That's actually, we were talking about putting greens last time. I'll tell you what, the Lighthouse putting green is like a sneaky top 20 all time kind of thing for me. Like, it was a big old putting green.
It was a big putting green. Great putting green. The Black Sea Rama's putting green was pretty bad. and there wasn't one at Thracian Cliffs. Just to continue on the theme of you've got the ingredients. Where is the putting green?
Yeah.
What is that? We had to use the chipping green for our putting comps.
Oh yeah.
As we've discussed, we like a putting comp. We make it happen. Yeah, Lighthouse. Food was great as well there. Really good.
Yeah.
Again, poor merch.
Poor merch. I mean, consistent theme of poor merch, which, I mean, obviously the P. Millar rep and the JL rep just haven't decided to branch that far afield.
Yeah, they've not jumped on the Wizz Air flight yet.
No. But no, Lighthouse was good. Scores were more respectable.
It was a fun golf course.
Fun golf course. I think we finished a bit later, didn't we? And we just sat and had dinner there. And we had a really pleasant day.
Live music in the evening came on the patio. It was just it was exactly what you say. The complete opposite to Thracian Cliffs in that you've not been beaten up by the course.
No.
You're sat looking at golf scenery. The 18th finish is just past you.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the big putting green in front of you. And it was just a really nice, playable day, playable golf course, nice patio, good setup.
Yeah.
Albeit the accommodation did look a little bit tired.
Yeah.
I think we chose correctly.
Yeah, I agree with you. So then we're 3 days in. We are then back day 4 to Black Sea Rama. However, I said we had a 5-day comp. That was actually a lie. What we decided to do is we went 4 days on the Stapleford with the second Black Sea Rama round being a break day. And we split off into 2 4s, which was all organised kind of handicap wise. So there was going to be no shots and we were going to do a scramble 4x4.
Yes. Great day.
Great day. Actually, my favourite day.
Okay. Well, probably not my favourite day, but I did like how it broke up the competition.
Yeah.
You know, it really allowed us to let our hair down, have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I think we actually got a bit of weather that day.
We did. So we went off in group 1. And as I said, so it was going to be no shots, so it's kind of all been organised, so handicaps were virtually even in the 2 groups. And so we go off and like, I had played very few scrambles in my golfing life, and so I wasn't 100% sure what a good score was going to be under par. And so we were going off, and because no one seemed to be in Bulgaria playing golf in the middle of the summer, as we've said, we basically were the only people on the course.
Yeah.
And so, like the kind of obnoxious British lads that we are, every time a birdie was going in, we were making sure that the group behind or in front knew. So there was just like almost like the back nine at the Masters on a Sunday, where just like there was these echoes of cheers going off as we were kind of cruising around the front nine. And so there was no, like, we got to halfway, there was no score sharing. And so I think our group was 6 under through 9. And we felt pretty good about that. But we'd heard you boys cheer quite a lot. And so we were like, okay, whatever. So we get into the back nine and we're kind of just pushing ahead. We're playing really nicely. And we had to do 3 drives from each of the 4.
Yep.
And I just couldn't. I'd hit some good drives, but then it was just like someone had hit driver or something and was a bit further ahead of me. And so we just were picking other people and going along. And I was one of the lowest handicaps in the group. And so I was like, don't worry, like, Stevie will come good later. Not a problem. The rain then started pouring about hole 13, 14, I want to say.
Yeah, we had to drive in, didn't we, briefly?
Oh, it went earlier than that.
It was. We were on the 10th. I think you were 11th
yes,
tee.
It was halfway. And
because you met us in the fairway. And I remember throwing a wobbler because I was like, nope, we're staying out. We're playing golf.
So to just give this a bit of colour, literally thunder is cracking round us. And it's like torrential rain. We're on holiday golf. There's no one else on this golf course. I literally was just like, boys, like, what are we doing? I was like, let's go back inside and let's just, dry off a bit. Like, we're like, what are we trying to achieve here? And so we drive back down the fairway to the group behind, which Josh was in. And as I said, it was pretty competitive between the 2 groups because I think dinner was on it. And Josh, I feel like just because it was against what we wanted to do as a group.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Josh was just like, no, we're not going in. I was like, Josh, I can literally see lightning. Like, what are you talking about?
I'd lost my head.
And so anyway, we crawled back in with a bit of you're forfeiting if you're going in, but then we both went in, so it was fine. And so then we headed back out to the 10th, where, you know, we had tees in the fairway, like, all concerned. So unrouted, and off we went. And so we had about 4 or 5 holes of clear weather, and then the heavens just opened again. And at this point, like, especially because of the drama of the first time going in, like, there was no going in. And so we're finishing.
Yeah. I mean, the first time around, as I say, I lost my head. It was against what I felt like you guys were ahead, and I was trying to play the mind games to get us back in the match. And I just knew I was going to lose, so I knew I needed to throw a real wobbler, and still lost. But anyway, that was through 9. We were on 10, as we say, so it made sense looking back as well.
Yeah.
But when it came again, I think we were on 15, 16. So it really was just a case of, if we go in now, we're not coming.
So the rain came again, and I agree. Like, we were finishing. At this point, we've got 5 holes left. I took every item of rain gear out of my bag before the trip, which now going forward, I now know the rain gloves, never leave the golf bag.
Essential.
Get rid of the brolly, get rid of the waterproof top. You have to maintain those gloves. I did not. Rain's coming down. I've only got 1 tee shot picked thus far. So it's going to have to be 2 of the next 5. And I'm literally holding, like, I cannot for the life of me grip my golf club.
Yeah.
It was an absolute nightmare. And so it's getting quite stressful because we're also quite heavily under par at this point. I think we're like 11 under. And so, like, we think dinner is basically on. And so, as we mentioned, the 18th is this big par 3 over this gorge. And I was like, I need to get all 3 out before 18. I can't be stood on 18, not being able to grip a golf club with us on 12 under par, and just like, so we literally got to 17. It is howling with rain. And when I tell you, I scabbed this driver up the middle about 220. It was the neckiest shot of all time. And the minute I hit it, the boys all let a huge cheer out. We all just ran back to the buggies and just shot up the thing. We were absolutely buzzing. And then, got it down, finished 12 under. Got in the clubhouse, started drying off, and just waited for you boys to kind of hit over. And so it was cool, like, watching from the clubhouse, like, you on the tee, trying to gauge, like, where it was. But I think we did it by a couple in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was neck and neck earlier on. I think you had a really good run back 9. The birdies dried up for us.
Yeah.
But to call out the golf course in and of itself, great finishing 4. You got that short par 4 back up into the top with a really small green. So you could give it a go, be very close to it, but then have a tougher pitch because you're going to be from low to high. Then 16 was a really good par 4 with the water right.
Yeah.
That, you have to just hit some form of iron down. Again, wedge on. It's not the hardest golf course, but it was a well-built golf hole. And then you've alluded to 17. You've hit a scabby tee shot, but it was a big wide par 5.
It was a big
that
wide
was
par 5.
Reachable.
Yeah.
Even from 220, you've got to have no issue getting there in 3.
Yeah. No, it was good. And do you know what? I would say, so we were 12 under, we were 6 under each side. I've not fist pumped more on an 18-hole round of golf in as long as I can remember. I mean, when you're shooting well under par as a scramble and you're just punching them in, and I hold a couple of putts on the back 9, like, it was quality, and we had a really nice dinner afterwards. And I had a great day, and I really enjoyed that. And I think kind of going forward, we're always looking like to put a scramble in kind of where we can.
Yeah, I think so. We've alluded to my putting woes before, so didn't really have too many fist bumps. Normally, I'd just be like, I'll go first, show you the line, or lack of line.
Were you putter 1?
I think I was putter 1. Yeah.
Blimey, must be in a dark place.
Yeah. I was left hand low still as I am now, but there were some real demons. I'm always messing about with it, as I've said before. Yeah. I'm currently at hands really low, which you just would not teach, right off the front foot, and almost try and pull it, because I know under pressure I just get jabby and I push it. I basically break down everything.
I tell you what, and this, we had to go with Dom's in Southport. I says, I'm not a tinkerer, as mentioned previously, but the lab putters, I think, are an interesting concept.
I'm close to a belly putter, so lab putters don't do anything, mate.
Up the forearm.
Yeah, anything. I've done forearm with a normal putter.
I could imagine, do you know what, it would be so on brand for you to just go like belly putter, anchoring, whatever, and just be like, I'm not professional. Like, who's going to stop me?
Yeah, fact.
I
I hate to accept it.
I'm here for enjoyment. So Black Sea Rama done, round 4, back to round 5, back to Thracian Cliffs, and I think this was one of these ones where you were like ready to go into battle again with a heavyweight champion.
Last day, we've gone out in order of where you sit as well. So the leaders are out in the last group. We had a guy who was just storming it. So he was, realistically, I think he needed about 20 points to win it, especially given it was Thracian Cliffs.
It was done. Yeah, Adam had won.
Absolutely. But we were playing for second place. And there were a lot of us that were in it, and there's still money back for second place. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot on the line, as well as the respect of your peers that we're always wanting. And one of the things just to shout out and mention is that we've not really spoken about the evenings. And that's, again, because it's not quite set up right for that trip.
Yeah.
We very much focus our trips on the whole experience, and not just the golf, but the accommodation, the bars, the restaurants, what else you can have. Bulgaria is just not quite set up for that. Varna and itself, Thracian Cliffs, which is why there isn't really much to say.
Isn't much to say. Now, what I was going to say, and it's well brought up, is so I think there's like 3 or 4 restaurants on Thracian Cliffs and said. So we went out to Varna one night, and then we ate Black Sea Rama, but ate at Lighthouse. But we did try the restaurants within Thracian Cliffs, and the one spot which was actually pretty damn nice was that beach restaurant that we went down to in the evening.
It was very nice, and Ryan fell asleep at the table. And one of the boys fell asleep at the table. We left him there, which wasn't the happiest boy about.
So we're a big table at 8, and then we're last out the restaurant. And yeah, it's kind of it's low, like right down at kind of beach level. Good seafood, really cool atmosphere. Like not buzzy, but just like a beautiful setting. And Ryan just conks out at the table, as in like literally like an OAP just conks out, and we all cotton on, and we're kind of all chatting away, and so he's obviously gone to sleep with this kind of background noise, and so we just like make everyone aware of the certain gentleman asleep, and we're just like, oh my, should we go? And then literally just one by one we all just start creeping off, and we got this photo of this amazing like scenic restaurant, like candle lit, like ocean behind, no one in it except Ryan, just and yeah, he didn't think it was as funny as we did.
No, he lost his sense of humour that night. I think most of us would have, in his defence, but I also think in our defence, any of us would have left anyone.
He also went on the poker table. As in, Ryan just had an off switch that he had the pictures.
He was just shutting down.
So they had like a games room, and we were kind of hanging out in it one of the evenings. And I think the story goes, I was in bed, but shock. He was literally live 1-on-1 playing poker against Adam, and like it just came to his turn, and he was just sat upright asleep. And obviously Adam just took him for money, and I was just like, well, I mean, it's like daylight robbery, to be honest, mate.
It's your own fault. Yeah,
that's a fact. So last round, Thracian, I said the comp was kind of done. We were kind of playing for second, the rest of us. Pretty much, we've talked about the course. Pretty much the main events all happen at 18. I'll just quickly conclude the tournament. So Adam wins, plays really, really well. Second place, I double bogeyed the last to lose second place to Bish on countback, which was annoying. But anyway, we finish, and then
so I'm playing with Bish, who's actually had a really decent day. But one of the things we do is we play the snake, which is whoever has the last 3 putt of the day in each group is the snake. And then we have the final snake off, which is why we love our putting comps, and there is some form of punishment. There is the punishment, but it's more just not being the snake is what you want. So we get to 18, and Bish is in the hunt and actually does get second anyway, but he's hit a poor tee shot that's just short of the bunker, but just over the water. So it's not a good one at all. He's then hit this kind of scabby chip. There's a little bit chunky that's just crept onto the green. We thought it was on the apron, but it was on. And we're like, okay, 35 feet away. It's going to be a good 2-putt. We're going to enjoy it. He's rolled it up to 2 foot and then proceeded to just shove it. And it has missed. So he's tapped it in. Obviously, no points. He's the snake. And then what he's gone to do is he's thrown the ball up with his left hand and almost on the half volley gone to swipe it with the right on the half volley. So you can imagine almost like a baseball swing. And it's hot in Bulgaria. And Bish is a big man. Bear, the Sex Panther, as we call it. As he swung through, his Scotty Cameron, which is actually probably the best part of his game is putting, has slipped out of his hand and careered, and I mean careered, 60, 80 yards into the lake. Now, I'm so happy that I was there to witness this because I think it might be the funniest moment I've ever seen on a golf course. Honestly, just hit the deck. I am sobbing, absolutely sobbing. And I mean, he took it really well, to be fair to him, but I mean, he stood in shock. So we finish up. And coming back to what I think you're going to raise, if there was an 18th patio, it would be one of the all-time moments for the boys.
All-time gallery moment.
But we finished, and I can't move quick enough to go and tell the boys what's happened.
I haven't seen it. So
I've come running off the golf course. It's not like me to be running anywhere. And I have come bounding round the corner. The boys are just like, how have you got on? How have you got on? And it's like, no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Have you heard about Bish? Of course you haven't. So it just went straight into the story of he's lost his 400 quid putter in the lake. What we don't know is he's now in the pro shop talking to them like, how deep's the lake? Can I go in it?
Can you go in it?
They offered it out to me and Mike, who were going to go in it. And they were like, it's like 10 foot deep. So no, more than that. It was like 10 meters deep. It was like a proper lake. It's a big boy.
Yeah.
And they were just like, you can do if you want, but there was lots of seaweed and probably not seaweed, it's not sea, but whatever it is, you know, it's like
algae
and all that.
Yeah.
They were like, it's gone. It's gone. And actually, as we sit here now, it is still in that lake.
Still in the lake, yeah. I mean, he was like offering money up for like kids from the pro shop to go get it and stuff like that. But I mean, an all-time story, which, as you said, if there was a patio, we'd have watched it and it would have been an all-time story plus 10% because there'd have been all of us laughing at it. But I missed it. But hey.
And just to wrap that one up, Bish did manage to win the snake off with a wedge. So fair play to him.
And that was it. 5 rounds, Bulgaria, done. I think in terms of the courses, they're ranked as they should be, in my opinion. Thracian 1, Black Sea Rama 2, Lighthouse 3. If there's the 2 options to stay, Thracian versus Lighthouse, I think we stayed in the right option. I think Thracian's the way to go. But yeah, my parting comment, as we've mentioned, is God, it's got the ingredients, but would just love someone to get over there and just kind of bring it to that commercialized view, which ultimately, yes, it might make it more expensive, but it would make it a better trip for holiday goers.
Absolutely agree. To echo your thoughts, every bit of ingredient it's got, it's just missing that Spanish, Portuguese resort feel where they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they give you the feel that they've walked the path before. So, good trip. Don't know if I'd rush back to Bulgaria off the back of what we've seen, based on what we said. Can understand why people go to the ready-made courses.
Yeah.
To be really honest.
I agree. And I think this summer we're going to Belek, we're going to Turkey.
Yeah.
And I think that will be interesting because that was basically going to be that was the toss up at the time, and I think we've got a great setup in Turkey, which I think we'll talk about once we've done it. But I would imagine we'll look back and be like, okay, yeah, I mean, you can see why Turkey is kind of more highly considered when it comes to a European golf destination. But let's see.
I agree. I mean, I've done Belek before. I've played the Montgomery Max, played the Cornelia course, stayed there. many years ago, so looking forward to properly doing it with the boys. I think you're going to be impressed. I think it's a completely different setup, and it's just a great experience, which we will get on to. So, good to catch up with you, Stevie.
Great to catch up.
The next episode is going to be on the Masters, so keep tuned, keep your ears out.
Can I have a couple of Masters predictions from you?
Ooh. So, when I'm betting, I don't like to go with the favourites.
Yeah.
Because it's boring. So I'm actually going to go for a couple of outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if they're outsiders, actually. I always like Hideki Matsuyama.
Yep.
He just cruises around there.
Past champion.
Corey Connors. Corey Connors at probably more than 75 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'd stick a couple of quid on him. And then, if he's in the field, I always love backing Justin Rose because he's just won me money, even when he shouldn't. So they're going to be the three. I think they're going to be terrible shouts.
I would like...
If Charlie Hoffman was in the field, always Charlie Hoffman, first round
I
leader.
used to be a big Charlie Hoffman guy. I used to think, green glove, he's going to do it.
First round leader, Charlie Hoffman, it was just like every year payout.
God, Justin Rose would be... I'm not sure if I'd say borderline unbearable if he became a Masters champion, but can you just imagine he'd be like sprinkling it. He'd be like Cole Frotch saying he fought in front of 80,000 at Wembley. Do you know what I mean? It would just... No, I'm looking forward to it. Do you know what? I haven't looked at it. I have no idea who I want to win. What I want is someone who's not won it before, and I want a playoff.
Okay. I at least want a tight tournament.
Yeah. Because there's been a couple of housings last couple of years.
When Scheffler won, he won by 1 million.
Yeah.
When, to be fair, last year was decent, but it was a rainy
DJ
Masters.
won by 1 million. Let's go back a couple more years. But
and it was a rainy Masters last year, and they had to play 36 holes last day, didn't they? Or 30 holes, whatever it was. So we're looking for a good tournament. That's going to be the next pod. Please do keep an eye out. And if you've enjoyed it, if you've enjoyed the last one, take a look at our socials. Give us a follow. Give us a listen.
Full program golf. All right.
Thank you very much.
Love you, mate.
See you later. Bye.